of webinars, which is related to the CESMM method of measurement. And today we have second webinar in this series. So I will introduce our honorable speaker. So please welcome Mr. Engineer Kamran Rahim. He is a skilled senior professional with the BTech in civil engineering and having vast experience managing the large-scale infrastructure project in UAE and Pakistan, and currently working with the lead consultancy firm in UAE. His expertise includes QS, contract administration, commercial management, with the proven record in handling pre- and post-contract quantity surveying at major infrastructure engineering projects. You all are requested to our honorable speaker will address the maximum question during the session. However, due to the time constraint, if any question is outstanding, that will be addressed and shared with all the attendees in due course. Also, you are all requested to make your attendance in the chat box. Now, I will request our PIQS Acting President, Mr. Abdurrahim Bajwa, to welcome all of you and the speaker. Thank you very much. Mr. Abdurrahim Bajwa, please take the lead.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kasser. And on behalf of PIQS, I extend our warmest and most sincere welcome to today's webinar. It is indeed a pleasure to host you, and we deeply appreciate the time you have taken to join us. I would also like to convey my heartfelt gratitude to Mr. Kamran Rahim for graciously accepting our invitation to address this important topic. I am confident this session will offer us all valuable insights and substantial benefit. Mr. Kamran, we now respectfully invite you to share your expertise with our esteemed attendees. Thank you all.
Thank you very much. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. I will just share the screen. Thank you very much, everyone, for your attendance. First of all, I am grateful to Almighty Allah and the PIQS to providing me this platform to deliver today's presentation. I will do my best effort to present a clear and comprehensive briefing on today's webinar. Before progressing to the webinar, just a quick brief on the PIQS. As you are all aware, PIQS is formerly known as QSAP, and it is started in operations in 2007. PIQS has already registered with Security and Exchange Commission in Pakistan. Its primary objective to share the knowledge, promote best practices, and support in professional development of its members. PIQS is governed by a board supported by 4 regional core committees, which are located in UAE, KSA, Qatar, and Oman, and 7 core committees, which is Knowledge Delivery Committee, Admin, IT, Talent Hunt Committee, Career Support Committee, Academic Support Committee, and Treasury. It maintains affiliation with the various reputable professional and academic bodies in such as RICS, Pakistan Association of Dubai, and UMT. PIQS operates 1 global and 5 regional WhatsApp group with over 2,000 members. Okay, presentation outlines will be today an overview on CESMM Class B, C, D, and E. We'll discuss about the B, purpose and use in the BOQ, Class C, Class D, Class E, and the key takes away. Moving forward, as we are aware that today's webinar on Class B, which is ground investigation, Class C, geotechnical and outdoor other specialist processes, Class D, demolition and site clearance, Class E, earthworks. CESMM 4 is a pivotal framework in civil engineering, ensuring uniformity and precision in cost estimation and project management. These classes B, C, D, E specifically address the ground engineering elements, demolition, and earthworks. Understanding these classes are crucial for anyone involved in the civil engineering projects from initial design to the final execution. and as they underpin accurate cost estimation and effective project management. Let's move to the Class B, ground investigation. Okay, Class B, it includes trial pits, trenches, boreholes, sampling, testing, instrumentation, observation, and professional services connection with the ground investigation, and it exclude excavation which not carried out for the purpose of ground investigation, that are measured in Class E, and boring and piling which are measured in Class P and Q. The works covered in Class B are trial pits and trenches, depth-based classification with and without rock, boreholes, light percussion and rotary drilled, with casing, core recovery, sampling, undisturbed, disturbed soil, rock, groundwater, site test, permeability, penetration, pressures, CBR, density, etc. Instrumentation observation, piezometer, inclinometer, gauges, seismic resistivity, lab test, which are classifications, chemicals, compaction, consolidation, permeability, soil rock strength, and professional services, technician, engineering, and site visit. The purpose of Class B in the pre-construction stage, it assesses the ground condition before design and construction, reduce risks for unforeseen ground issues, providing data for foundation design, earthworks, planning, and material classification such as rock, soil, and groundwater. In the post-construction stage, it's locate the existing services prior to construction to avoid any damages, and verifying the ground strata, which is carried out in the pre-construction stage. The contractor obligations under this clause will be the record logs, preserve sample properly, report findings, and disposal of excavated material and dead services. The key element in here are trial pits, excavate to expose ground and locate existing services, measured in numbers and the depth in meters, separate items if the different depth categories, and trench support, timbering is required. The other key element in these class are boreholes, drilling to obtain soil rock samples, measured by depth and diameter, differentiated by method, rotary, shell, auger, percussion, and core versus non-core. Here is the extract on the right side of the screen. We have extract from the CESMM 4 page, how the ground investigation is look like. Similar like others, it has 3 divisions, first, second, and third. We discuss in the general first hour seminar what is first, second, and third. Moving forward, in the first division we have trial trenches and trial pits and trenches. The first item in the second division, these are measured in numbers other than rock, and number in material other than includes rock. So it's differentiate rock and without rock. In the third division, it's measured up to 1 meter, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 5, and so on. In the second division, we have, okay, this item, basically the number in material, which is measured in numbers. These are the contractors' resources mobilization. His crew, his machinery, small machinery to the location. So that is measured in numbers. And the depth is here. In addition, in the BOQ description, you will find the plane area of the length to be given. This is the length. That to be specified in the description of the BOQ. The depth is, which is vertical depth. Okay, so the depth, next item in the CESMM, we have depth in material other than rock, which is measured in meters, depth in rock, depth supported, and depth backfilled, which all are in meter. If during the execution, if you found any obstruction, so that to be removed and it to be recorded by in hours. In addition, there is any pumping is required, because if there is the ground water level is high and you need to do any pumping, so that pumping is also to be recorded in the hours as well as. This is the sample of the BOQ page on the right side. I will just read it out a bit to the ground investigation, trial pits and trenches. Trial trenches to locate the existing services by hand or in any of soil other than rock, including preparation and submission of records, results and recommendation, all as per specification drawings. Okay, the trial
डेली में था कि अगर वो पार्ट वगैरह मिलता है
मैं आपको सेंड करता हूँ ये एक्सपीरियंस
ताकि इसको
trial trenches to certain
फौरन
locate existing services, maximum length 3 meter. So this is very important because your prices are based on the length. So if during the tender stage, if you didn't found the length specified in your BOQ, right away raise the query to the client consultant and inquire about the length, because your prices are based on the length. Excavation by hand, it is specified. So the description is very important in the CESMM understanding, because it's affect the cost, it's affect the your rates, unit rates, and the work on site also. As we in the previous slide, we discussed the first is number in material other than rock. So these depth are not exceeding 1 meter, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 5. It's measured in numbers. So these are basically the contractor mobilization cost and his crew mobilization to the site. The second item is depth in material other than rock. So the second will be whatever the depths are here, that to be total of in linear meter measured here. Depth supported. If the trench is loose or near to the existing road or any other is required support, this is the sample, the picture showing the support how to, and it to be measured in linear meter. Depth backfilled with excavated material for reinstatement. And whatever the trenches you will fill out, it has to be reinstated to the original ground, and the depth backfilled, whatever the depth excavated, it should be backfilled and measured here. Okay, in the CESMM, next again, in our generally, just quick one another brief. In our presentation, first, as you saw here, we have the first extract from the CESMM page, and the second we have the BOQ sample page. That is how we arranged because of the easy understanding and clarity. In the CESMM extract, we have another item is light cable percussion borehole. It is measured in numbers. So here it is very important the diameter to be specified in the specifications in the item description. Then we have a depth. As it is a borehole, the depth ranges are given here from 5 to 40 or so on. Depth backfill, same principle we discussed in the trial trenches. It is material stated. And chiseling to prove the rock. If the rock encounter, it is need chiseling, so that to be recorded in hours. The next main item is rotary drill borehole. It's measured in numbers. Very important to see the description and the diameter to be specified in the description. Depth without core recovery, which is measured in meter, and depth with core recovery in also in meter. And the depth in the third division, the different depth bands are given. Depth cased, depth backfilled with material stated, and core boxes. Here in the left side, you will see the sample of the core boxes where we have depth with core recovery. If we mention with core recovery, that has to be sampled in the core boxes. So core boxes in measured in numbers, that is, it is going on. Moving next. This is the sample of the rotary drill borehole. Nominal diameter at base 150 mm. It is very important to have a diameter specified in the description. If not, please raise the query to the client, because it will affect your pricing accordingly. So number of boreholes, subsurface site investigation for overhead road signs, light poles, tunnels, bridges, it is measured in number. These all are depth with core recovery. See, it's to specify mention with core recovery in holes of maximum depth 5 meter, depth with core recovery 5 to 10, with depth with core recovery, and depth core recovery 20 to 30 meter. These all are measured in meters. The first item will be the contractor, as I informed earlier, the contractor mobilization of the resources to the site. So that is measured in number. The remaining depth up to how much meter is required, it is measured here. And again, after the drill, after the boreholes, the depth to be backfilled with excavated material, and it's measured in meter. In the left side, I just show one illustrative picture the rotary drill borehole. It says the machine because it has the drilling mud, suction pipe, drilling rod, borehole. So now when you are pricing, so make sure you have accounted all these drilling mud, pumps, suction pump, etc. All the operations which require to conduct the borehole, because you don't have any separate item for this. This is part of the operational and that to be considered. So during the pricing, it should be noted and priced accordingly. Here is the extract of the CESMM. After moving forward, we have the fourth item is samples from the surface, from trial pits and trenches, and from boreholes. In the trial pits and trenches, we have undisturbed soft material, disturbed soft material, rock, groundwater, and from the boreholes, we have open tube, disturbed groundwater. These different tests are required. Moving next, we have a site test and observations. So some of the samples required site to be observed and tested on site, which is listed here: permeability, groundwater, standard penetration, penetration van, and others are in the for the boreholes. It is mentioned self-boring pressure meter, California bearing ratio, static coring, sounding, etc. So forward, this is the sample of the page from the BOQ. The samples, disturbed sample of soil material from surface, minimum 40 kg. So it's measured in numbers. Then site test and observation, we just saw in the previous slide. Site test for groundwater level as directed by the engineer, and standard penetration test for rotary drill borehole, its number. Laboratory test. So some of the tests you need to perform on site and some of the laboratory. So the laboratory test to be measured separately: moisture content, particle size, sieve analysis, and unconfined compressor test. These are only for indicative purposes. If you are preparing the BOQ, please consult your geotechnical engineer, material engineer, what are the tests required, so that to be listed in the BOQ. These are the laboratory extract from the CESMM page. This is the laboratory test. Is classification, moisture content, earth weight limit, specific gravity, particle size. Now these all are technical, because your material engineer or geotechnical engineer will exactly guide what are the tests required for which project, and you have to just list out accordingly.
Excuse me, Mr. Kamran, I have one question regarding the previous slide.
Excuse me, please write your question in the question note. It will be answered in the end of the day, end of the slides. Thank you. We have moving forward, we have a rock strength to be measured, unconfined compressive strength, and core samples, consolidated, disturbed textile, tri-axle with volume change. Then another, we have the 8th clause in the CESMM, which is the professional services. Technicians and technical engineer, if it is required to visit the site and witness the test, it will be measured in hours. Engineer and geologist, based on their education background, is a graduate, chartered, or principal or consultant, it is in hour, measured in hour. Visit to the site in numbers, and overnight stay in conjunction with the site, with site visits. So that is also in numbers. So if it is any professional services are required, that will be listed in the BOQ accordingly as per the requirement of the project. Okay, before moving to the next slide, if you have any question on class B, please write down in the chat box or the Q&A question answer tab. So we will answer in the end of the presentation, inshallah. Okay, class C, which is geotechnical and other specialist processes, which includes geotechnical process for altering the properties of the soil and rock, and other specialist processes, and exclude compaction, which included in class C, we will discuss later today, and grouting inside the tunnels and sewers, which are classified in class T and Y. The works cover drilling and driving grout holes, various inclinations, depth through soil, rock, artificial material, grouting, materials, cement, ash, sand, bentonite, chemicals, method, packers, stages, injections, diaphragm walls, we have excavation, concrete, reinforcement, guide walls, waterproofing joints, waterproof joints, ground reinforcement, we have anchors, soil nails with corrosion protection, sand, band and wick drains, vibroflotation for ground improvement. Okay, the purpose of this class covers the specialist geotechnical works not included in general earthworks. This because it as specified here, it's a specialist processes, this for the geotechnical, and ensure accurate measurement and fair pricing for complex operations. The contractor obligations will be under this class will be disposal of excavated material and debt services. Under this scope, there we have a piling board CFA, which is a continuous flight of ore, which is cast in drilled hole, also called as and driven piles. We have diaphragm walls under the scope used for deep excavation and retaining structures. Ground anchors provide lateral supports. Soil nails stabilize slopes and or excavations. Then we have grouting and ground treatments, jet grouting, permeation grouting, compensation grouting. We have a drought dewatering wells, well points, pumps, ground freezing for temporary support. Class C, extract from the CESMM, how it is looks. The first division, we have drilling for grout holes through material other than rock, artificial hot material, and drilling for grout holes through rock. So always the CESMM differentiate between the rock and on-rock areas or artificial hot material, and drilling injection piles for grout holes. In the second division, we have vertically downwards at the angle of 0 to 45, to vertical, horizontally and downwards, upwards and upwards to different angles less than 45 or vertical, and in depth in holes. So in holes of depth, which is have a different depth ranges from 5 to 10, 10 to 20, and so on. This is required for the grouting of the drilling. Next is grout holes material and injections, number of holes, number of stages, single water pressure test, multiple water pressure test materials and injections. Okay, here we whatever the grout you required to do, so that is specified. It is cements, pulverized fruit ash, sand, pea gravel, bentonite and chemicals. In the injections, we have number of injections, neat cement grout, cement and stated ground filters, etc. Okay, we have diaphragm walls. Diaphragm walls, we discussed it is required for the deep excavation for retaining the structures. So diaphragm walls is measured in excavation in material other than rock, artificial hard material, and excavation in rock, and excavation in artificial hard material. So all the three components are defined, the ground strata. So the depth has been specified here to 5 meter, 5 to 10, and so on. After the excavation, you have to do the concrete, which is measured in cubic meter. You have a reinforcement, which is measured in with the different nominal sizes has been given here. Waterproof joints and guide walls, which is measured in meter. So
नहीं तो एक केड़ा एक 5 मरले दा ते एक 7 मरले दा.
Okay, diaphragm wall, it is, we have the guide wall. The operation of the diaphragm wall is first you have to construct the guide wall, which is measured here in linear meter, because that is important to retain the structure. Then you have the bentonite excavation, bentonite slurry, you have the cage, steel reinforcement caging, and the concreting. So these are the steps have been mentioned. This is another section, how the process will go. First you have excavation. Excavation first, the primary panel with excavator. Okay, the second stage is trench cutter excavation. You have to make a trench cutter. Before, first is you have to make here the guide wall. After that you have to install the reinforcement, and then the concreting, and how it is looks like a diaphragm wall. Moving forward, we have from the extract of CESMM, the class 6 in first division for class C, ground in reinforcement. number of material other than rock, if the ground improvement is required, so that is measured here. Total length of tendons and number of materials which include rock, artificial material, and total length of tendons. Now in the third division, it specify it is temporary with single corrosion protection, or permanent with single or double corrosion protection. We have sand band, and wick drains. This is the sample picture of the wick drains, how it looks. Basically, the wick drains are the thin prefabricated geotextile wrap plastic strips used in the geotechnical processes. So number of drains, then number of prefab holes, re-drilled hole, depth of overlaying material, depth of drains of maximum depth up to 10 meter, 10 to 15 different depth categories here, and the cross-sectional dimension, which is here the cross-sectional dimension to be given 100 to 200 because it's boring, so the dia has been given here. Vibroflotation is a ground improvement technique that uses vibratory probe to density for the density, number of probes and depth of probes, and the depth of the vibroflotation is mentioned with the different depth band categories. Generally, the class C is required rarely for the complex projects, and that the CESMM measured here. But in the general road and other projects, it normally not required, and it's not classified also. Moving to the class D, demolition and site clearance. Before moving, you have any question on class B and C, please write down in the chat box. In addition, there is also, please mark your attendance in the link provided in the chat box. Thank you. Class D, demolition and site clearance. It includes demolition and removal of natural and artificial articles, objects, and obstruction which are above the original surface, and it excludes removal of articles, objects, obstruction, and materials at or below the original surface, which falls under class C, E, I, J, K, L, R, T, X, Y. The works covered under the class D: demolition, site clearance, general, invasive, and plant removal, tree and stump removal classified by girth and diameter, demolition of building structures classified by volume and material, and removal of pipelines classified by bores. The purpose of demolition and site clearance covers demolition, dismantling, and clearance works, provides consistent measurement for safe pricing of site preparation, ensure clarity on what is included in the contractor scope. The contractor obligation under this clause is disposal of the material. Site clearance, removal of vegetation, trees, shrubs, stripping of topsoil. Description, okay, that is very important. The description shall identify the area includes unless the total area of the site. So if the engineer intends to have the lesser area, that to be described in the description. Otherwise, it will measure as a total area. In the demolition, we have demolition of buildings, structures, foundations. We have removal of curbs, fencing, pipelines, and disposal of debris, waste material, and hazardous substances. This is the extract from the CESMM page. How it's we have site clearance, general site clearance. We have measured in hectare, and invasive plant species, which is measured in square meter. The trees measured in by girth, 500 to 2 meter and exceeding 2 meter. Stumps measured in diameter. This is the section of the stumps is the measured in the diameter. It should be measured in diameter. Then we have a building. In the second division, it's classified what type of building. It's a brickwork, concrete, masonry, metal, timber, or any no prominent material. And the volume has been given. So it's measured in sum, and the volume to be specified in the description, item description. Again, if you don't found the volume specified in the description, please write your inquiry to the client consultant to get the volume, because it will affect your pricing. And there is any other structures like your demolishing the bridges and other structures, that is also to be specified. Removal of pipelines, nominal diameter, it's measured in linear meter, nominal diameter 100 to 300 mm, 300 to 500 and exceeded 500 mm. Okay, site clearance, this is the sample of the BOQ we'll discuss now. General site clearance, as per specification, is measured in hectare. Removal of trees, carefully excavate, remove, protect, transport and hand over trees to the other than palm trees. So these are the normal trees. Girth, they specify 0 to 0.5 to 1. To designated location identified by the concerned authority, and it's measured in linear meter. How the girth to be measured? It is from 1 meter above the ground and circumference of the tree. That is the girth to be measured. Now the second item, here you have to hand over the trees to the concerned authority. Here in the next item, if the is required to hand over, okay, there is a normal tree and this is the palm trees. If you have any other trees, that has to be specified, because each tree has different, the rate will be the different for each type of trees. And if you need temporary site storage or temporary replantation near to the site, so separate line item to be given for the same. Removal of existing buildings. As we discussed, remove breakout and remove existing concrete building. It's here it's specified you have a concrete building as per drawing specification, including excavation. So the different type of volumes has been given up to 50, 50 to 100, and it's measured in sum. So the demolition of this is a sample for illustrated purpose. Sample BOQ we have in the roads. Normally we have a removal of existing curbs and sidewalk, how it's defined in the description. Breakout and remove existing curb for any specified type, including concrete base, hunching and car to approved trip as directed by the engineer. So when you're pricing, so your rate is not only removal of the curbs, but also the underneath you have a backing and concrete base that to be disposed of. So that all to be included within your unit rate. Make sure to calculate and put the cost within your unit rate. Then carefully remove. Okay, this is the bulk. The rate here is breakout and remove of curve, because that is required general removal. Here they have to use the curves again. So carefully remove existing precast concrete curve of any specified type and set aside in contractor stores for reuse. So very important, this is carefully removed, because any damages happen, any damages to be for the reuse, that to be covered in the cost of the reuse. So if you see this item is here for the reuse and you didn't found in the next and any other BOQ to use, please raise your inquiry to the client that you have item 3.18 which says to be reused. Please specify where this item to be reused. Similar for the curves is measured in linear meter. We have removal of existing sidewalks, which is carefully remove existing 60 mm interlock, because that to be specified. The thickness of the interlock and pedestrian pavers include under layers. Tiles set aside for reuse. Again, here is that to be reused. Okay, beneath the interlock there is a sign bed and set sub base that to be removed to and hauled to the approved dump site. Okay, here the next item, carefully remove 60 mm interlocking pedestrian pavers including under layers and pallet and deliver to the stores. So here the first item, you have to reuse the tiles on the site. So you have in somewhere there is another item to be given to reuse of existing tiles. The second item 3.20 which mentions, so you have to remove the tiles carefully and deliver to the authority store. So your rate should include the haulage of the tiles to the authority or the client stores. The underneath material like sand bed and sub base, that's to be hauled to the approved dump site. Existing signpost, that is also required. Okay, we have existing chain link and fencing, whatever required as per the site requirements. That is measured in linear meter. Then we have existing warning and regulatory signs posted and delivered to the department store. Again, is measured in linear numbers, road traffic signs. The foundations card to tip and to approved dump site. So very important, you have to include the removal of foundation and haulage to the approved dump site within your rate. Carefully remove existing warning and regulatory sign and set aside in contractor store for reuse. So here again it's a reuse, so you should have another line item in the other part of the bill of the BOQ for the existing signs to be reused. We have some gantry signs sometimes we have to be removed. So in that, carefully dismantle and remove existing ground mounted signs, structures and sign panels set aside in contractor stores for reuse. Sign area 10 to 15 square meter. So this is the sign area. In the left side, the picture, if you see that, this is the sign area that to be specified. Because the sign area has the different rate, it impact the cost of rate of what you are building on. So if you didn't found the description, the square meter, please write your inquiry to the client to define the area of the signpost. Guide signs, cantilever signs, and gantry signs. So that should be specified with the sign area. Now moving forward to earthworks. Once again, if you have any inquiry on the B, C, D, please raise it in your chat box. Okay, class E, it includes excavation, dredging, filling, disposal, compaction, and landscaping, and it excludes excavation for ground investigation, diaphragm walls, anchors, pipes, sievers, which is measured in IL, piles in PQ, tunnel shaft in T, and fences in X. Works covered in earthworks, dredging, cutting, foundation, general excavation, which is depth and material based, ancillary works, trimming, preparation of surfaces, disposal, double handling, and support lifting. Filling to structures, embankments, general areas with different materials, excavated, imported, rock, artificial. Compaction, including high energy impact, landscaping, turfing, seeding, planting, hedges. So these all are covered in the class E earthworks. The purpose of the earthworks covers the excavation, filling, compaction, and disposal material, provide the standard measurement system for the earthworks, and ensure consistency, fairness, and accuracy in contract pricing. The scope in this class covered site stripping and preparation, excavation to reduce levels, trench, pit, and shaft excavation, excavation for foundation, roads, and structures, filling, backfilling, and compaction, and disposal of materials. In the measurement, that is very important to be considered that quantities of earthworks are computed net using the dimensions from the drawings, and no allowance for the bulking, shrinking, and waste to be given allowed. So all your earthwork quantities to be measured from the drawings. So that is very important. You should keep a factor of bulking and waste within your pricing. An item for excavation deemed to include upholding of site of excavation, additional excavation to provide working space, and removal of debt service. During the roadway or structure excavation, if you found any working space, you need to, like if for the structure, you need to keep the formwork working space you need, so that to not be paid, because you are all the measurements to be calculated from the drawing, so you have to include the working space within your pricing. And any debt service encountered during the excavation, that to be removed. Is part of the inclusion in your rate. Okay, extract of the CESMM page. The first division, we have a excavation for dredging, by dredging. It's measured in cubic meter. The dredging is in the sea. If you see in the left side, the pictures illustrate how the dredging to be performed. Again, in the second class, it's mentioned topsoil material other than topsoil rock material, stated artificial hard material, stated artificial hard material not exposed to the commencing surfaces, control and hazardous material not exposed to the commencing surfaces. And the third division, the depth has been given with different depth band categories, which is not exceeding 0.25 meters, 0.25 to 5, 5 to 1, 1 to 2, and so on. In the next item, we have excavation for cuttings. This is the roadway excavation. Excavation for cuttings. This is the roadway embankment excavations. Excavation for foundations. You have any structures, you have substations, you have bridges, underpasses, whatever the excavation is required. So that will be measured under the foundations, because the rate for the cutting and all will be different. And the fourth item is general excavation. General excavation, you are doing the borrow pit excavation and any other, so that will be measured under the general excavation. So again, it is in the second division. All these 4 items have a different classified in the material characteristics. It's a rock or artificial material or stated material, and the depth bands. Here is a sample of the BOQ page. Excavation for cutting material other than topsoil. So excavation for cutting, it means it is for the roads, the road embankment. Material other than topsoil, rock, and artificial hard material for attaining the proposed subgrade haul up to the stockpiles and on designated areas. Okay, the different depth categories has been defined here. Depth supported 15 meter. So if you have any depth, because if it's the loose soil or anything, so sorry, left depth exceeding 15 meter. Excavation for cutting rock. If you encountered any rock within the excavation, that to be measured separately, because the rate for rock and general excavation is different. Excavation of reinforced concrete foundation. During the excavation, for the road excavation, you counted any concrete within that, so that to be measured also here. And excavation for reinforced concrete foundation, depth up to 1 to 2 meter and 2 to 5 meter. This is the extract from CESMM 3 handbook. CESMM 3 does not divide the excavation into the depth bands, but in item B, but according to the total, it is A, but according to the total depth. So if you have a total depth of 10 meter, it will be measured in the 10 meter. The CESMM code is 425. This is the original surface and this is the depth bands. It's not classified like you have up to 0.25, 0.5 to 1, 1 to 2, 1 to 3, unless it is specified specifically in the specifications or the POQ preambles and the descriptions. Otherwise, generally, the CESMM measure the full depths. Double handling. Double handling is the how we'll just see how the double handling to be done. This is the borrow pit. The general excavation to be done here. Okay, here some of the material to be reused directly. So you excavate from here and reuse here directly. Sometime due to the client instruction, very important for the double handling, the engineer instruction is required, mandatory. So the engineer instruct you because the area is not ready or there is any obstruction or due to any site condition, different site condition, they will ask you to store the material temporarily on the other side. So that is called double handling. So first you borrow the material from the stockyard to the designated area, from there to the roadway where you have to fill. So that is called, because the operation has been performed in 2 times, so double handling. Again, once again, very important for double handling, the engineer instructions. Without the engineer instruction, it is not the double handling will not be valid. In the any excess material, because you have a cut, you have a fill, and the third material, you have excess material to be disposed of, or you have a deficiency in the fill, you have a more fill and the cut is less, so you have to bring the imported material. Extract from the CESMM again, excavation ancillaries. We have trimming of excavated surfaces, measured in square meter. In the third division, it says topsoil is classified the ground characteristic. It is rock or unrock, topsoil, or stated artificial hard material, or controlled and hazardous material. Preparation of excavated surfaces, disposal of material, double handling. We just discussed the double handling before the slide. Dredging to remove silt, excavate excavation of material below the final surface and replacement with stated material, timber support left in, metal support left in. That is measured in the square meter supports. So this is the typical roadway section. So the first item is trimming of excavated surface. If you have a cut, so this is the excavated surface beside the carriageway, not the carriageway, the site, the shoulder, the verges and the walkways or the green area within the right of way, that is the required trimming excavated surfaces. Then the preparation of excavated surfaces within the cut area. If you have a carriageway, so that will be measured under the preparation of excavation surface, because the preparation here and here are entirely different, because this has the permanent vehicles running over it. So the criteria is entirely different than here. Disposal, any differences between excavation and fill to be disposed of, and double handling we already discussed. Dredging, and during the excavation, if it is a loose soil or structure, it required the material, some support, it's a timber or metal, that to be specified in the item description, because after it cannot, it's left in, because it should be within part of the excavation, so it's measured in square meter. Because of this excavation, it cannot be removed back, so that is the reason it is mentioned as left in. This is a sample of the BOQ for excavation ancillaries. Trimming of excavated surface not to receive permanent works, which is beside the carriageway, measured in square meter. Preparation of excavated surface to receive permanent works. So permanent work, because this is the roadway, this is the carriageway, this is the permanent works for excavated surfaces. Then preparation of excavated surface to receive permanent works in rock. If there is a different, because the rock and CESMM always classified separately for rock or unrock area, and disposal of surplus material to spoil heaps on designated areas, and disposal of excavated material rock. This is the normal excavated material, this is the rock material. Disposal of excavated concrete, and if during the excavation, we discussed in the first previous slide, if during the excavation you counted any concrete, it has to be also be disposed of, so that is measured here. Double handling of excavated material, if any double handling required, it to be measured here within the excavation ancillaries. And excavation of material below the final surface and replacement with the stabilizing crushed material. Sometimes the ground strata required extra excavation, so that to be specified here due to the less CBR value on the different projects. This is again sample of the BOQ, like if it is the OGL, this is the OGL, the green line is going the OGL, it's going here, so here you need a cut, here you need a fill. Again going forward, here you need a fill, cut, because your formation level is below that. So that is how, because if you're using the CAD software and BIM, so that will calculate the Earthworks cut and fill. In the filling, we have two structures, like wise the excavation, because excavation we said it excavation for dredging, excavation for foundation, for general excavation. The filling is also classified in the different. If you're doing for structures, it's a separate line item. Embankments, separate line item, general filling, and to stated depth or thicknesses. Here the material of the filling, it is excavated topsoil, imported topsoil, not selected excavated material, selected excavated material other than topsoil, imported natural material other than topsoil, excavated rock, imported artificial material. So whatever the material characteristics that to be specified, accordingly the number should be given accordingly. Then you have high energy impact compaction general fill, that is classified in selected excavated material other than topsoil, imported material, because some of the high density, how it is, because you need the special filling here, so that is the reason it is measured under the high density impact fill. Moving forward, this is the sample page of the filling. Filling to embankment, suitable excavated material other than topsoil or rock. So height is given with the different heights, 0.5, 5 to 1, 1 to 1.5, and different heights. And filling to embankment, this is the important material. If you have a deficiency in the cut material, so you need to borrow the material from the outsource quarry. So that is the imported material that with the different height is required. In the excavation, there was a one line item was there, excavated below the subgrade. So again, you need to fill with the subgrade with the imported material to improve the CBR. That is also measured in the cubic meter. So all the filling items are measured in the cubic meter. Filling ancillaries, we have trimming of fill surfaces, preparation of surfaces. Likewise, excavation, if beside the roadway we discuss, the carriageway will be preparation, and the sides of the beside the carriageway, that will be trimming, consider under the trimming in the fill surface. So topsoil material other than topsoil, rock or artificial earth material. If you need during the filling, you have any geotextile, that will be measured here in the as a square meter. Landscaping, we have a turfing, hydraulic, mulch grass seeding, other grass seeding, plants stated, and spurps. So this is the turfing, the sample of how it to be measured in the square meter, the turfing how it to be laid, the artificial grass. Hedges stated, and these all are measured in linear meter. So we have 2-3 items measured in square meter, then we have plants measured in numbers, and the hedges and others measure in linear meter. So it should be a single row, double row. So the landscaping is specified. One other thing in the, okay, we'll discuss later, the filling ancillaries sample of the BOQ, trimming of fill surfaces not to receive permanent works, material other than topsoil, rock, artificial material, square meter, preparation of surfaces to receive permanent works. Filling of fill surfaces to receive capping layers to protect slope. So in the side slope, if you just going back to the slide, like you have here side slope, this one, any protection is required, that is the item here. Preparation of fill surfaces to receive capping layer to protect slopes, and preparation of ground to receive the fill material. So these all are measured in the square meter. Moving next, it is very important, the commencing surfaces in the excavation in the earthworks. If you are doing any general site clearance, so the top surface to be removed, so that item, that quantity, maybe it is 5 centimeter, 10 centimeter, or whatever is, so that to be deducted from the excavated material, because the excavation is always measuring from the commencing surfaces. So if you have normally if you do any general clearance, so the top surface will be clean up to 5 centi, 10 centi, or whatever is. So you have to take the again OGL to record the commencing surfaces, and from that the OGL to be calculated like here. So this is the OGL. So if you do that general site clearance, so there is some area to be removed in the excavation. So that has to be recorded separately for the proper earthwork calculations. In addition, the commencing surfaces, that is very important to be noted in the excavation earthworks. The commencing surfaces is the what is the actual surface on the side, not the existing ground levels. Like we saw in the section here, this OGL is not the commencing surfaces, which is the actual surface on site, that will be the commencing surface. The measurement best practices. Achieving accuracy in civil engineering projects, particularly across CESMM classes B, C, D, E, hinges on RIBO's measurement best practices accurately. Accurate quantity takeoff is paramount, significantly enhanced by modern tools such as CAD software and seamless building information modeling BIM integration, which allow precise calculation and reduce errors. It is equally important to clarify that define the work boundaries. Very important to identify the work boundaries, preventing costly scope creep that can derail project budgets and schedules. Proper documentation is very important to keep all the proper records. Proper documentation, including meticulous diaries, photographs, evidences, and comprehensive survey data, provides a valuable audit trail to help resolve disputes. Adhere to CESMM code is very important because it will ensure the consistent and accurate application measurement rules across the project phases, leading fairer contracts and improve project outcomes. Now, what we discuss here, the proper documentation. In the demolitions and site clearance, we discuss the removal of signs. If the contractor removing the signs, so he has to deliver to the authority and take the receipt. So that to be recorded properly and to be signed off. If he removing any trees and hand over to the authority, that to be recorded, separate record to be maintained, how many numbers has been removed and how many hand over to the authorities. Similarly, for the debris removal, he has to dump to the approved dump yard and bring the slip. So that from the authority slip that how much quantity has disposed of. It's recording similarly for the disposal of general material. If he is disposing any material which is arises from the excavation, it should be properly documented. It's not on with the trace record and to be checked by the engineer and signed off. So the proper documentation is very important for the proper auditing and everything. Common mistakes and solutions. Incorrect CESMM application. Achieving accuracy in civil engineering projects, particularly across CESMM classes B, C, D, E, hinges on both measurements, best practices. Accurate quantity takeoff. Okay. Even with the CESMM 4 guidance, common mistakes can lead to the significant cost overruns and project delays. Incorrect applications of the CESMM 4 rules is frequent. Always refer to the official guide and seek clarification when you have a doubt. We discussed, suppose if in the ground investigation you don't have the length of the trench, so raise your query. So otherwise it leads to the incorrect implication and has the cost impact also. Or in the rotary drill borehole, if your diameter is not specified, please right away state your query. We discuss in the demolition items also, the items for the reuse. If you didn't found any item reuse within the other part of the bill of quantity, please raise your query to the engineer and to define that where to be, and also disposal material where to be disposed, all these things. Ambiguous description in tender document can result misinterpretation and disputes. Using precise language is essential. So always use the precise language, which is the essential to avoid the discrepancies. Failure to account waste or bulking of materials can lead to the underestimation of quantities, necessitating costly additional procurement. So if you didn't encounter waste or bulking material during the your tendering, when you are quoting the price, so it lead to the underestimation, and it will have an additional cost burden to the contractor during the execution. Furthermore, the neglecting temporary works such as excavation support or dewatering can result in unexpected expenses. For instance, over excavation might require additional 15% backfill, escalating both cost and timelines. Proactive planning and strict adherence to the guidelines can mitigate these risks. Conclusion: mastering CESMM 4 class B, C, D, and E. Mastering CESMM 4 is indispensable for successful in civil engineering projects. Their proper application ensure fair payment, transparent cost estimation, and effective risk allocation among all parties involved. To achieve this mastery, it is crucial to consult the official CESMM 4 guidance, diligently and not hesitate to seek expert advice when faced with complex scenarios. Furthermore, the dynamic nature of the civil engineering demands continuous learning, regular training, and staying updated with the latest revisions and interpretation of CESMM 4 are essential for all professionals in the field. By integration of these practices, project can be executed more efficiently, dispute minimized, and overall project success enhanced. Thank you very much for your time and understanding. So now I'm moving to the Mr. Kasser for the questions.
Thank you very much, Engineer Kamran. It was amazing and really we enjoyed all. So first of all, I would like thank you to the PIQS organizing committee, organizing team, the speaker, Mr. Kamran Naeem, so and the attendees who spent their time and joined with us. And I hope that all have got the knowledge and enhanced their knowledge. So there is as you know, there is a future program. So this series will remain continue. So we will have another 3 series that we will cover the CESMM. We will issue the certificates to the attendees. Kindly make sure that you please make your attendance. Also, we will share a feedback form along with the certificates for your guidance, support, and further enhancement. So now we will move to the questions.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kamran, for delivering a well-structured and full of knowledge presentation. We have a couple of questions from the attendees. So first question is, please define site clearance. Can you please answer this question?
Yes. Okay. As we discussed earlier, the site clearance, I'll go to the slide quickly. Okay. Basically, the site clearance are the general site clearance, okay, where it is expressly required. We discuss here in the scope and the purpose. The description shall identify the site area includes unless it is the total area of the site. Now, considering that if you have a road project, I'll just bring to the road section here. You have a road project of 1 kilometer. So it will be the area of the site from the right of way to the right of way, and you have to clear the site. So if sometime in the sum of the projects, you have the existing roads in both sides or one side. So that area to be deducted from the site clearance, because here you don't need. The purpose of the site clearance to remove the vegetation, and as we read it here, the purpose of the site clearance is, the purpose of the site clearance is to remove the vegetation and clear the site from invasive plant and other things. So I hope it is answered.
Yeah, thank you. Very well answered. So our next question is, what is difference item number 3.19 and 3.20? Can you go to this slide? I think
Sure.
they are matching item number 3.19 and 3.20.
Yes, 1 second. Okay. Here we discuss, this is the sidewalk, removal of the sidewalk. Sidewalk normally measured in the square meter area. First item is carefully remove the existing 60 mm interlock pedestrian pavers, including underneath layers, and set aside for reuse. Here, item is to reuse. So what the operations will be, the contractor will remove the sidewalk and put on the site in his store. And then later on, when the work site will be ready, he has to take it from his store to the site and reuse. That's item 3.20, which states the same. They have to remove the interlock and deliver to the store. So this store is the engineer's, the client store. So they have to remove this interlock and deliver to the site store. So here, okay, here the inclusion is they have to remove and store in the site, contractor stores, and then reuse later on, reuse. For that reuse, there will be separate line item to be given in the BOQ. As I inform, if not given, please raise your inquiry. Otherwise, and the second item, the contractor will remove all the interlock and deliver to the authority store, because that is all the materials, all the items under the demolition or the site, it is property of the client. So all the items to be handed over to the client.
Okay, thank you. One thing I would make it clear that Mr. Kamran said that we should raise a query. So he is talking about the pre-tender stage, not post-tender stage, because post-tender stage we cannot raise a query. Thank you, Mr. Kamran. Our next question is, what includes in site stripping and preparation?
Site stripping and preparation. Okay, site stripping is the general clearance basically, and preparation. Okay, site stripping is a part of the general clearance, site clearance, while the preparation is the you have the permanent works. You have to do the permanent works for the preparation, like we discussed in the section of the road works. You have to do here the preparation. So whatever the preparation is required, that is for the permanent work, that is have a separate line item. Site stripping is the general basically required for the clearance of the site. Is okay?
Okay, okay, thank you. Next question is how we can accommodate not scheduled item in BOQ. Please give example from BOQ. I think they are asking that if there is non scheduled item, mean the item is not available in the CESMM. So how we will address in our BOQ?
This is the quick example which we discussed right now. Item 3.19 and 3.20. See, if you see the CESMM, this is the extract from the CESMM page. There is no curbstone or interlocking. It says site clearance, trees, stumps, buildings, and other structures and pipelines. Now, if you go to the BOQ, see if it is a just for example purposes, it is a building, concrete building, D421. So it is D, class D. This is the 4 building, and 2 is the concrete, and 1 is not exceeding 50 cubic meter. Now, what we discuss here, like here, we have item for removal of existing curbs. So there is no item in the CESMM exists. So we numbered as D900. And for this item, we have to put the preambles. We have to put the description in the preambles. What are, if here the description has been given, if it is a single line item, so we have to give the in detail and brief in the preambles for understanding.
Okay, thank you. Our next question, I think that is a long question. Okay, please bear with me. This question is, if we excavate bunker excavation, disposal of excavated material, we shift it nearby temporary stockpile. After that, need to be removed at permanent stockpile. But subcontractor wants to claim quantity from temporary stockpile due to loose factor added. So in this scenario, how we will pay, because clients pay us net volume of bunker excavation?
Correct, because
So
as we
you understand the question?
I hope I so. If something is I go, please help me also, support me. As
Yeah,
we discussed
no,
here for the here, see, it is if it is specified in the item line item. First, number one is we already discussed very clearly that any bulkage, shrinkage, or wastage that to be part of your weights, part of your rate. So that not to be given. So while you're bidding, okay, in the pre-construction stage, while the bidding is going on, the contractor, if you are pricing the item, please consult your construction manager how to execute. If you found difficulty, please take the consult of your construction manager or project manager. So they will guide, they will give you the process how to be tackle to be filled. If it is beyond, if you because normally the QS is bidding the BOQ, pricing the BOQ. If you found a difficulty or you found the difference, the site is little different than others, then consult you. So they will give you the procedures. They will give you the operation how to be carried out. So you have to list out these items and price accordingly, because this is not the client is only intention. He give you, suppose this road, you have to construct the road, and he give you the bill of quantity, you have to price it. Now, any things arises because of your site, but I will say the site operations or the contractor method, state method. He have to do some site storage, which is and then backfilling and disposing of whatever is that is has to be part of his obligation and considered within his pricing.
Thank you. Okay, I will add something here. Okay,
Yes, please.
all the earthwork quantities should be calculated from the earthwork cross section, irrespective of this bulking or shrinkage factor. As per this is as per this, we cannot go and take the loose volume or something else like this. Okay, we cannot make this one. All the quantities should be taken from the drawing, as you mentioned, from the drawings. Okay, thank you very much. Our next question is how dewatering is to be measured under CESMM 4?
Okay. How dewatering? Normally, if you read the preambles, it is specified within his pricing. Okay, I will just show here one of the item because in the specialist process, which we see in the class C, there is a dewatering. There is a separate line item for the dewatering. Anyhow, generally the contractor, because the engineers, just to explain that, because generally the dewatering is not measured in the POQ. There is no separate line items provided in the dewatering, because that is part of the contractor obligations and part of the contractor method execution, that he will do the dewatering to that extent. So while doing the considering the high water table area, so that all the dewatering cost, because that you have to coordinate within the relevant BOQ items. Because there is no line items we found, because if there is anything, it should be class B and C. So we didn't see any line item for the dewatering. See, the B is already only for the testing and other things, which we already discussed. And so in the BOQ and the CESMM doesn't measure the dewatering. So it will be part of the contractor method related charges.
Okay, okay, then. I think the next question you already explained very well, but I will repeat the question. Question is, the engineer is not certifying the stockpile double handling as arguing that the stockpile rate is deemed to be included in pipeline. As we have shifted the stockpile twice, we understand that the double handling should be certified.
Yeah, your question is very valid, and that is the common practice are going during their site. As I informed during my presentation, the double handling, that is very important, the engineer instructions. Otherwise, because suppose the project consists of the pipeline and other things, so all the material arises, you have to temporarily stockpile. That is part of the contractor method related charges that the client will not bear the cost. The client will only bear, because why the contractor is doing so, because the next area is not ready for the roadway filling or any other area is not ready, so is doing the temporary stockpiling, but it not be considered as a double handling. Double handling is specifically is in all the preambles in the CESMM, it's required the engineer instructions. So if engineer didn't instruct, so they will not pay the items to you. So as I informed previously, if you have any like site storage and all these things, that is you should consider within your method related charges in the class A general items.
Okay, thank you. Now I will move to next question. Question is, if the BOQ does not mention the depth for demolition of a utility network, and we priced it assuming 1.5 meter depth, but later the drawing journal notes indicate 6 meter depth. Does this become the contractor's liability, or can the contractor claim for the additional depth? Yes.
Okay, now here the scenario is, okay, generally as per if you go first, I will discuss about the CESMM, then your scenario. CESMM measure the pipelines in linear meter, not by depth bands. Okay, it is specify up to 100 to 300. Now your question is very valid. It is up to 1.5 meter. So how you assume, this is the question, because when you could see the drawing, there is some pipeline has to be demolished. As I told in the various time in my presentation, if you have any discrepancy you found during the tender time in the drawings or in the BOQ references, please raise your queries. Now this is very common that you put your assumptions for 1.5 meter, but when you bid the tender and you win it and you were going for execution, you found this 6 meter. The client will ask definitely to remove the pipeline for 6 meter, because you didn't raise the query, so you lose your chances for this one. And why? Because the client will not adhere of all this, even the consultant also not adhere for such things, because they already give you the drawings, they already provided you the BOQ to price it. If you found anything which is not clear to you for the pricing, please raise the inquiries. So in general, the client or consultant is not eligible to pay any additional things which is you assume or you underestimated during the bidding time.
Okay, thank you. The next question is, can CESMM 4 cover building works, all item, or it's only related to infrastructure work?
CESMM normally cover the infrastructure work mostly, but again, if you go to the class Z, it is covered the simple building works, like we have a substation and we have other things that is covered in the simple building works. Please stay tuned with us and with our, because we have a series of webinars, so we'll definitely reach to the set in the last fifth of our series, so you will understand the what are the items specified in the class Z for the building works.
Okay, thank you. The next question is, we have calculated the manhole depth from cover level to top of base because there is a height of 500 millimeter in between invert level to top of base, but engineer only considering cover level to invert level. So
Okay,
the
sorry,
question,
once again, can you?
I think question is not clear. If I understand, I can again
Yeah.
read it. This one. The question is, we have calculated the manhole depth from cover level to top of base because
Okay.
there is a height of 500 mm in between invert level to top of base, but engineer only considering cover level to invert level. So first, I think this question is not related to item B, C, D, or E. Okay, this is related to class I. Okay, I think we can answer this question when we will discuss this class I. Right. Okay.
But where we will try to answer you in the post session, not.
Yeah. Okay. The next question is, do you know, as per CESMM, cable looping, how much is allowed, like 2 meter or more? He's asking to the looping of cable.
Loop of
Okay,
the
how much?
cable. Okay, normally it is performed in the street lighting or the electrical works, which is okay. There is no line items for the electrical, so it is normally measuring in the miscellaneous works. Again, as I defined in the, if you see here, the one of the question was how the numbering to be given like D900. So there also we are giving X, because there in the CESMM it's not measured miscellaneous works, the cables. So we may mention X900. Again, all the details like the loops or whatever are the inclusions that to be defined in the preamble. So very important for the electrical and the street lighting, you should read the preamble. So if it is mentioned or the BOQ description, it is mentioned that loops are considered, then it will be considered. If it's not mentioned, so then definitely you have a right to claim in the construction.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kamran. We have a couple of more questions, but due to time constraint, we will deal in another way. Thank you very much. Over to Mr. Kasser. Yes, Mr. Kasser.
Again, thank you very much, Mr. Fias and Mr. Kamran. Thank you very much for your help in the question and answer session. So really, it was helpful and useful. I believe everybody understand their questions and answers. Okay, kindly stay with us. We will have another 3 session and we will announce, and kindly make sure that you make the attendance. And for the time, thank you everybody. Thank you very much.